She's not afraid of anybody.
When these women start fighting for men to be part of the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders, then I'll know that they really care about equality. Martha Burka, global angry chicks on testosterone overload. These are the bra-burning refugees from the 70s. The audience of men doesn't want to hear women call a game. They turn it off as fast as they turn off Dennis Miller. Do you think that anybody in the WNBA could beat anyone in the NBA?
Who was the lady from Southfield, Michigan?
An attorney.
An attorney, yes. Did she pass the bar?
Why do you have a right to be a member of every club just because you're a woman? You know, when these women start fighting for men to be part of the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders, then I'll know that they really care about equality. Race and gender are completely separate. They're completely different. And in fact, Augusta does have black members. And you know, Augusta actually was making waves to have women in the club. But these feminists engage in these terrorist tactics and they get this kind of backlash. Because I think most women can't take it when they're excluded. They don't realize that there's a dynamic that sometimes men want to be only with men. I mean, women have tried to invade the men's locker room. They're trying to become coaches in the NBA. They have already sued to become coaches of male basketball, high school basketball teams. They want to invade every area, and there's a backlash.
Is it the same to run a corporation as a woman and run a sports team?
Of course not. The fact is that this is not an area where equality is the supreme consideration. You think that Larry Brown had problems with Allen Iverson, or P.J. Carlesimo had problems with Latrell Sprewell. Just think what kind of problems they'll have when there's a woman coach. The problem is most of these people in the NBA themselves have been raised by women only. Their mothers have watched Oprah. They don't know how to be a man. They need a male role model, a male mentor, a male coach. There are a lot of things that go on in the locker room and off the field that are equally as important as winning and losing. And we have to get away from this desire to feminize and Oprahify every single segment of society. We have to let men be men.
These men did not look at me as a woman, but as someone who could help them to sharpen their game, to do drills.
You may think that that's how they looked at you, but that's
not
how they
became better
looked
players, and they still. How do you know how they looked at me? You
Because
weren't in
I
their brains or
understand
no?
the human psychology, and apparently you don't.
Debbie?
If baseball players can use steroids and O.J. and Lawrence Taylor can be in the Football Pro Hall of Fame, let Pete Rose back in and let him be in the Baseball Hall of Fame. 3 cheers for LeBron and people like Kobe Bryant who skipped college and let us, the consumers, pay for his job rather than the taxpayers funding him for a phony college education. If Ms. Burke wants to have a barbecue at the back of her house, why should I get to decide who the guests are? That's their house. That's their club. They paid for it. And the fact is that if she wants women in, why doesn't she have her own club? And frankly, you know, I've looked at her organization. Let's look at who some of the members of her organization are, since she's publicized who the members of Augusta are. I mean, these people do not represent women of America. She represents groups like Postpartum Support International, something called Gender Watchers. I have no idea what that is. And, you know, Global Angry Chicks on Testosterone Overload. I made that one up, but that's what it seems like this group is about. There are a lot of things in this country that are not gender neutral. We don't see men playing for the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. We don't see men as waitresses at Hooters. And we don't see Ms. Burke fighting for the rights of women in 22 Arab countries around the world. Unfortunately, we saw in the New York Times that some of the men in the club are buckling. And I think that that's very unfortunate. These former bra burners of the 70s that Ms. Burke represents, unfortunately, have made men in America a bunch of wimps.
And now, here's Mark McEwen.
Want to weigh in on that?
With our first check of the weather.
Who was the lady from Southfield, Michigan?
An attorney.
An attorney, yes. Did she pass the bar?
In fact, a couple of weeks ago, a woman by the name of Patty Shea went to a Dodgers game, and all she wrote about was what she called the goodies and goodie factory of Sean Green from the Dodgers, about her visit to the locker room. And this isn't about different rules. This is about the laws of nature. Women are not as good as men in any sport except maybe figure skating, and they couldn't outlast the men if they played them. So the dynamic you have is that the only women who are attractive succeed in marketing and endorsements. Okay, well, do you think that anybody in the WNBA could beat anyone in the NBA? They couldn't even beat my brother's high school basketball team. This is what the audience wants. That's the reason you have sexy cheerleaders in football on the NFL. Until they give up the dream that they're as good as men, this is the backlash. There's a dynamic in men's sports. Women want to date them and men want to be them. In women's sports, you just don't have that dynamic unless there's Anna Kournikova. That's why the WNBA is not succeeding. Nobody's going to those games.
Well,
and nobody's going to the Women's Soccer League's games either.
The Washington Mystics draw very well here in Washington.
A lot of lesbians, but not enough mainstream
people.
people.
Will you stop with the lesbians? It's like for a woman to be a good athlete, she has to be a lesbian. That's so ridiculous.
No, but that's who the fans are of the WNBA because none of them are good looking. Nobody cares. Nobody cares how these people do on the court. The fact is, sports is entertainment, and until people appreciate that it's entertainment, and people who are good-looking are the ones that draw crowds in entertainment, they're never going to get it.
But to be a good female athlete, you don't have to be lesbian.
That every right winger ends up attacking the gays. So we start out with
I didn't attack the gays. I just said you can't build a sports league on them. How many overhead layups can you watch before you get a headache in slow-mo?
Not everybody can be an anchor at CNN. CNN is exclusive. They pick who they like and who looks good. Are we going to have this women's club now fighting so that ugly women can be anchors? The fact is that not everybody can be a member of every
CNN does not discriminate based on categories of people.
I can't even respond to that. I don't know.
Ugly men.
Would it be out of line to propose to Debbie at this point? Is that? I tell you what, that's the point.
If
the point
nominated,
is,
I will not serve. If elected, I will not run.